Hello, welcome back. This is Jeff Byers, and this is Annie 258, and this is Module 9, and this is Part 2 of a 4-part series. We're going to be replacing the BSPs with Sci-Fi Modular Assets. We're going to continue working on our Module 8 assignment. And please email me at jbyers3@jcc.edu if you have any questions or concerns about this module, or having any problems or issues. Please keep in mind our weekly schedule. That hasn't changed since we started. And basically the module overview, I'm just going to quickly, you're gonna need to read this thoroughly. But Module 9, Part 2, Module 9 is Part 2 of a 4-part series. And you will take and move you're going to be working on one project for 4 weeks, modules 8, 9, 10, and 11. Alright, so make sure you create, and you've already done this, create a first-person shooter for your project. And this is going to be a military outpost. It's going to be an interior, not an exterior environment. So, and you still have 4 weeks. So this will be a lot more manageable for you. I need a top-down orthographic drawing. You need to make sure that every module that you actually turn that in, because I don't know if you've made any adjustments or made any changes, but I also need to have it for grading. Okay, so make sure that you continue turning your orthographic drawing into me for every module so I can see your progression. And you also need to make sure you continue to follow the assignment requirement list. Okay? And that is as a reference guide to you guys as well. Right, like I said, Module 8, 9, and 10 will coordinate together to complete one project. Alright, and make sure you read the assignment page thoroughly. Okay? Now, what you're basically going to be focusing on this week is that you're going to be bringing in and using your project that you've created your BSPs. Your BSPs need to be completely finished, and you need to play and test it to make sure that the walls, the hallways are wide enough for you to get through, and your rooms are big enough. Now, make your rooms bigger if you feel like they need to be bigger, and feel free to do that. You'll need to have at least 8 rooms. Again, you have to follow those assignment requirements, and the minimum requirements, make sure you follow those as well. If you don't remember what those are, you can go back to Module 8 and look at that. But right now, what I need you to do is go out and find your sci-fi assets. Okay, there are 4 out there. What you can do, and they're free, what you can do is you just type in sci-fi environments, and you should be able to find those pretty easily. And you're going to need to take those assets and replace the BSPs. So the basic BSP was your prototype. You always have to do a BSP prototype. You have to look for a couple things. Is it manageable? Is it scaled properly? Is the level big enough to do what you want it to do, or look the way you want it to look? Make sure the rooms are big enough, because a 20-foot room by 20-foot room, or a 30-foot room by a 30-foot room, it sounds big in real life, but it always seems a little smaller in Unreal when you're playing the game. Okay, so keep in mind the BSP prototype is super essential for determining scale and game playability. Okay, so you're gonna pick you're gonna pick 4 interior rooms and 4 hallways and or corridors. So you don't have to do both. You have to do, if you just have a corridor, those are usually really short hallways between 2 rooms. Okay, and hallways are a little bit longer. Anyway, they're one and the same, but these are just connections. These connect the rooms together. So I need 4 interior rooms, completely finished, floor, all the walls and the ceiling, And the same with the hallways or corridor, you need 4. And I need the walls and the floor and the ceilings completely finished with the module assets. Okay, so need to be completely rebuilt, and that's basically what I need you to do this week. So you'll rebuild those. Take your time. Make sure they look good. And make sure they follow the sci-fi theme. And student will continue on Unreal to build out their sci-fi interior. And I want you to look ahead too. So the next module, Module 10, will be creating original assets. So you'll need to have 4 original assets that you create using Maya. And then texturing those and creating construction worksheets like you did last time. And those will all need to be due. Those are due at the end of the week next week on Module 10. And I'll need basically you to continue continue building your level with modular assets. Okay. All right. So if you get those assets completed, and you get those completed in a couple days or 3 or 4 days, then continue building, because Module 11 then is set dressing, adding cover, and sci-fi, and using sci-fi cover, and you can find those in the marketplace as well. Everything that modules 8, 9, 10, and 11. You can get everything from the marketplace. Now, if there's some stuff that you find that is textured, I really don't want to see untextured items this time, so try your hardest not to do that. Okay, so I need also a lot of screenshots. So I need a screenshot of every corner of the room, and that's just the 4 interior. Now, the 4 interiors and the 4 hallways. I've already got screenshots of your BSP, so if whatever's left, whatever BSPs you have left, I do not need to have more screenshots of those. So I just need screenshots of your 4 interior rooms. So basically every corner. You can see that adds up pretty quickly. Okay, so we'll have 16 screenshots of the 4 rooms, and then 16 screenshots of the hallways. Now, I know the hallways are more narrow, so I could probably get away with just 2, 1 on each end of the hallways, 1 screenshot of each end. So, all right, so turn those in. So that'll be 8 for those, 8 screenshots, and 16 for the interior rooms. Okay. All right, so let's see here. Then we've got, make sure the rooms are designated as these. So we've got crew quarters, lounge, mess hall, weapon storage, main airlock, main control room, science lab, and med lab. And you need to make sure those are designated. Okay, we need a 30-second plus, whatever it takes, however long you need to create a sequence of you playing your entire level and get it going into each room and each hallway. Make sure you light. You're going to use your architectural lighting and props mood boards. Okay, as you continue to shape this into your sci-fi game level. Interior only. If you build like an outside, it's because you're looking out the window, and that's fine. You can build a little bit, but we're not going to really take the camera outside. You're going to be looking out the windows if you have windows. Okay. An objective you guys can look at. Please read everything thoroughly. Again, I just kind of went through what our course assignment is. You'll need to replace the BSPs with modular assets for 4 rooms and 4 hallways or corridors. and 16 screenshots for that, and 8 for the hallways. Alright, and then I've got a lecture on modular design, so please read that. What is modular design? And we've got some modular building concepts. We have a video tutorial here. It takes you through the modular concepts and how to build things. How to prototype, why we prototype with BSPs, and this is the workflow that you're going to be using for this module, for these actual series of modules for the next 4 weeks. Okay, how do you create a scene using modular assets? How do you put them together? And here's some examples of modular assets that are, I don't know if these are out there on the marketplace, but that looks pretty familiar to me. So you got some floor pieces that you can put together. Modular just basically means that it's scaled in a grid system, that you can lock them together easily. And here's another example of the walls for that modular set. Okay, and then this is some work that's been created from that particular modular set, so you can see that it all works together. You don't want to see any gaps and stuff. It's all actually a lot of fun to put together. It's time consuming, but a lot of fun, and when you get it all finished, you have the creative freedom to replace stuff, and you can go through it. And if you don't like a corner, if you don't like a piece that you've done here and it doesn't look right, you can go back and replace that piece pretty easily by just clicking on another piece, bringing it in, and placing it where you need it to be placed. It's like basically like Legos, but a lot more fun. And when you're creating your game environments, if you run into and you're basically putting these where the BSP walls are in the ceiling, if you find that you need a little more room for the rooms, you feel free to make adjustments. And then what you do when you're finished, you want to get rid of that BSP so you can play the level freely without knocking into the BSP wall. You may have to actually delete the BSP walls, the ones that you've created, to be able to navigate in your new level, so keep that in mind. Alright, so here's some examples, and then we've got another example of some some modular system pieces that's out there, and you can see that how they create it from the top view. Also need a top view screenshot, not like this, but directly on top, and to help me see how your layout is looking in comparison to what your drawing is. And the inside of that, with pieces all put together, and you can see that this looks way better than just texturing your BSPs. Okay, now the reason why we're doing this now is because this is really how BSPs are used, and basically BSPs are just used as a prototype and to show scale and gameplay and strategy, and to make it look beautiful you have to have assets, and modular assets at that. So that helps with visual continuity with the game, and this is what the visual sells just as much. I wouldn't say it's as important as gameplay. Gameplay is pretty important, if not the most important thing. But visual assets and visual, having something nice to look at as you're playing the game, it's really fun. It's also I would say it plays very highly into how you feel about when you're playing the game, because this could look just nothing there. This could look like a BSP, and that wouldn't be as much fun to play as this. So keep that in mind. Here's a little video of him walking through some of the parts that he's done, and then here's creating a cinematic movie or movie for gameplay. I need you guys to make sure that you're using the right compression, H.264 or Xvid. Xvid is free. You can just type it in, Xvid, and download it. Then restart your computer. It's easy to install. Just put it on your desktop, double click on it, install it, and then restart your computer. Open up Unreal, and most of these will show up with that option, Xvid. It gives you high quality compression and your videos are way smaller. Alright, so assignment, we already know about that. The grading rubric, please read this very, very carefully. This is how I'm grading you on your assignment. And go through that. And then the instructions are to make sure you give me all of the screenshots. And I've got 16 down here. I've got 16 plus down here. 16 plus screenshots. Okay. And so the minimum is 16, and you can give me more. Please give me more if you need to. Okay. So we got 16 on the rooms already, but then I need the hallways as well. Okay. If I don't see screenshots of either of these, I'm going to count points off because I have to have these screenshots. That's why it says 16 plus in here. Okay. Make sure I get screenshots of everything you've done. That's how I grade you. And then I need to have that 30-second gameplay movie. Okay. And here's the compression right here that I need. Alright. Alright, so that's basically it. There's no need for a video on what you need to turn in. I think it's pretty clear what you need to turn in. So if you have any questions or concerns, let me know. Again, this is Module 9, and you are now going to replace your BSPs with modular assets. Okay? And I would suggest you get as far as you can, and that way at the very end in Module 11, when you're actually set dressing the hallways and the rooms and making them look lived in with sci-fi assets and props, that you are pretty much done. You don't have a whole lot to worry about except for lighting and rendering and getting those screenshots into me and the nice 30-second plus movie that you're going to make walking through the finished level. Lighting's going to be a big thing in Module 11. We want to really knock the lighting out. This time we're going to have a lot more tutorials on lighting. So make sure you watch those. Again, Module 10, just looking ahead, Module 10 is going to be covering your original assets. You have to have 4, and they need to be bigger than 2 foot by 2 foot. Okay? So go online, find out what props you would like to do, and maybe use those as references, and model things out and texture them out. Again, that's all I'm asking for. I'm going to probably ask for 1 more room to be created, or maybe 2 more rooms to be created on Module 10. So you won't have a whole lot to do, so everybody will get their stuff done by Module 11, and you can just take a nice breather and just worry about lighting and getting the rest of it set dressed. Okay, so that's the idea behind everything. And if you want to get started with your creating your original assets, feel free to do that now if you find yourself with a little more time to kill. So go ahead and do that. That will be Module 10. Alright, I look forward to seeing your work, and keep up the good work, guys. You're doing really good, and I'll see you next week. Have a great week.